Good morning and welcome to CPI's GITEX TV. We are here to talk about the interesting market that is video conferencing, and particularly Cisco Tandberg's role in this market. Mohammed, Wael, welcome again.
Thank you.
Let's start sort of with a very general overview of the video conferencing market. It's a new buzzword today, and Cisco obviously exploded on the scene with its Telepresence solution. Maybe one of you would like to sort of talk about that, and then we'll move into see how people are adopting it, what's happening in the region.
Sure. The telepresence and video conferencing today has become one of the areas that a lot of organizations tend to look at. And the reason behind the buzzword is multiple things. I mean, people today look at areas where they would like to cut costs and become greener sometimes, and even increase productivity. Telepresence is used in multiple organizations. We use it ourselves to enhance our productivity. And video conferencing is another element of telepresence. So it's very critical to understand the difference between telepresence and video conferencing. And telepresence is more of a controlled environment where you get a feeling of a person sitting across the table with you and discussing it as if you were in the same room. Video conferencing is a much more dynamic, flexible solution, and the beauty is we can talk today between all of these units together.
And particularly with the telepresence, obviously we've as media people, we've sat through quite a few demonstrations of it. Telepresence as a technology plays pretty much in the high end of the market. So how are you seeing adoption? What kind of customers have been buying your solutions? And how do you see that technology cascading down to be more cost effective?
Okay. Specifically around telepresence, we always say, telepresence is like chocolate. You will know it only when you taste it. You know how it feels, when you taste it. And it's about experiencing, and the adoption rate at the beginning, when we started with telepresence, it started slow, but right now the adoption rate is quite, moving in the right direction, regionally, globally. Working with service provider and bringing this service to business. So I think we passed the stage from being good to have to it's a necessity to improve productivity. Carbon emission, reduce carbon emission. I think by now, in Cisco we've got about 800 rooms deployed across the globe. Saving a couple of $100 million, increased productivity for people. So I don't think we'd have invested 800 rooms if we know that this is the right direction. We have lots of customers, who started with few rooms, and now they are in the range of 100 rooms. Okay. So it proved that it is the right technology to most importantly to gain productivity, especially during this economic crisis that we experienced. People want to save money. People want to increase productivity. And of course, the green initiative, right. People want to, address this particular point.
Cisco is, I think, its own big customer. So obviously, all of you use it quite extensively. Can you talk about how it's helped you reduce travel, save time? Personally, how do you all use it when you're at work?
Yeah. So we've used telepresence quite extensively. The number we have reached saving out of telepresence from traveling on its own was about $700 million approximately.
This is globally?
This is globally, yes, indeed. We use it as if we sit in the same meeting rooms. So to tell you the truth, you kind of forget you're in front of technology after a few minutes when you're seated in that room, and you just sit as if we are chatting today. So we could run this over telepresence, right? And we wouldn't feel any difference. We would just sit there, talk together, and have this interview run the same way we're having it today. The only difference is I won't be able to shake your hands.
Right.
We, when we started with Telepresence, it was, it's another, technology. But right now, I mean, I want to spend more time with the family. Telepresence, and actually, we and Cisco, when we want to travel, we book our own travel. Right now, the first option, if there's a Telepresence room, then you need to go to an approval, because you can conduct your meeting over Telepresence. There is no really need, and we don't really try to travel, especially if you want to travel. You have a presentation in Mauritius, you still want to do a Mauritius presentation, but spending time with the family, carbon emission, again, increasing productivity, because traveling anywhere, just to even for a customer meeting, yes, you go for 1 or 2 hours meeting, but you spend 1 or 2 days on the road, taxis, airports, etc. So the productivity gain is unbelievable.
This is one question I always ask. I've asked quite a few Cisco executives as well. The solution itself is not cheap, right? So you need to obviously, when you look at ROI and how you calculate that, how much traveling or travel cost does a company typically need to be incurring to sort of justify a spend on a solution like this? Do you have any metrics that can talk about it?
So the element of total solution being cheap is relevant to the organization, right? Today the matrix is always evolved around productivity and cost traveling, and you'll be very surprised that a few trips on its own could pay off for the units, all right? So it's not, the cost is not the only element that people look at today from an organizational point of view. They also look at key areas, just like being able to make decisions faster, giving them a competitive edge against others, and being able to drive innovation into the market. Plus, it even can enhance their customer service. So in certain service-oriented organizations, the customer service will experience something new, which can lead into their sales and revenue as well. So the matrix is all dependent on the variables of the organization, but from a cost point of view, I think they all have the answers in their hands.
Maybe just to add, when we started Telepresence back in 2007, yeah, we came with those, big units, six-seater and the 18, and as Mohammed said, it's all relative, but almost 1.5 years or 2 years later, the direction was like, we want to deliver Telepresence for everyone.
Right.
So lower endpoints, you still keep the same experience as, it's about feeding the same person sitting with you. We kept the same experience. We came out with the new units to address those types of customers. And, one of the things that we wanted to have, less room customization, lower bandwidth. So all these points to address this segment is addressed.
Okay.
So and of course, now Cisco Tandberg, we cover the whole spectrum, all the way from high-end to all the way to the desktop. So that gap is completely filled.
Is there scope for a good pay-as-you-use model, particularly with Telepresence, where you could use that as a service? Service providers can start offering it to the larger market, so you can pay to use.
Okay.
Is there? I know Cisco was exploring that at some point. So is that something you can talk about?
You will hear something new. And you'll hear something in the news very soon. I can't say anything more this, but this is something definitely. Maybe I can tell you we already started it with with service provider around the globe. There are public telepresence rooms, all over the world. There is public announcement with Marriott, with Starwood, with Tata, and many other service providers are embarking this, public. So you're going to see you can walk into a hotel and you just rent the room, the telepresence room, similar to what when you rent a regular room. So we are going in this direction. You will hear something in the news very soon in the UAE, but that's the only thing I can say.
Cisco's takeover or merger with Tandberg was big news. So do you want to talk about how you are integrating the product lines particularly? So what can customers expect to see?
So this is going to benefit a lot of the customers, and the key takeaway I would like to take on this is the ability to have a complete portfolio, as Wael said previously, from the telepresence room all the way to the desktop, right? Today these technologies talk, so from initial point of view, the integration. Now all our technologies talk to each other. In fact, today in GITEX we are showing the people and the organizations that we have, Cisco Telepresence and Tandberg Telepresence talking to each other.
Okay.
So all of this will benefit the client today because the customer will have a complete video end-to-end solution on top to all the collaboration that Cisco can provide them on a secure network and reliable network. And this is something that will benefit individuals, just like Wael said earlier as well, around more family time. It will touch organizations from a productivity and an ROI point of view, and it will even drive initiatives to become greener as they move forward.
So obviously when organizations are considering such a solutions, there are lots of, yes, cost benefits of course, but also what you're saying is there are a lot of intangibles that they need to factor in, and one of that is definitely having happier families.
Yes.
But I guess you're going to miss a few of those Mauritius trips, but anyway. Thank you for your time. I think it's been an interesting discussion.
Thank you.
Maybe which stall can people come and see the demo in if they'd like to?
So we're in Zabil Hall. We are just
B30
B30
in Zabil Hall. You'll see Tandberg, Cisco logos. So yes, we are one company, but just to tell the market that we are here. So yeah.
So thank you for your time,
Thank you.
and hope you have a good GITEX.
Thank you.